Hi, I'm Heidi, licensed marriage and family therapist, and today I'm going to be talking about the strength of your story and how your story matters. I am a therapist with Bridging Hope Counseling, which is located in Rogers, Lionel Lakes, and Buffalo, Minnesota. We have a YouTube channel and we're on Facebook and Instagram, so we would love it if you could support us, like our pages, subscribe to our channel. We are really wanting to step out and show how therapists are real and we're human, so we can take the concept of therapy feeling very far away and just bring it closer together where it feels doable and not so scary, and where there can be more hope. So when we come back to kind of thinking about the strength of your story. So have you ever thought to yourself, nobody cares, my story doesn't matter, I don't matter? You're kind of in that dark place and you're just like, I just don't want to communicate with anybody. So you don't speak up, you don't share what's going on, you don't share your struggles, and you isolate from other people. Honestly, this is a really, really common thing. We think that I'm just going to keep this to myself, I'm going to keep the pain to myself, I'm not going to share this with other people because I don't want to burden someone else. I don't want to cause my pain to be pain in someone else. And so we think we're helping it by keeping our issues to ourselves. And the problem with this is that when these ideas come up, or when we think about these ideas, it actually magnifies our problems and makes them bigger. And really what's underneath it is shame. And shame loves secrecy. Brene Brown says that shame hates it when we reach out and we tell our story. It hates having words wrapped around it. It can't survive being shared. Shame loves secrecy. So when we bury our story, that shame metastasizes. So I'm going to get personal with you. I'm going to share a story of my own personal journey that hopefully can bring some transformation and some hope within you. And as you listen, I want you to think about your own story and your own path and the things that you are going through right now. So it was November 2011, and I had just taken a pregnancy test, and I'm freaking out because it's positive. My first thought is, how am I going to tell Tim? How can I tell him in an exciting way so I can surprise him? And when I finally told him, we were both really, really ecstatic. We started telling the people that we trusted, the closest people around us. We started making decisions like, are we going to find out the sex of the baby or not? We started figuring out baby names and the due date. So all these different exciting things. We went in for the 8-week ultrasound and they didn't find a heartbeat. And they said, this happens. The Doppler doesn't always catch the heartbeat because the baby's so small. We didn't think anything of it. We don't have anything to compare it to. So we just think this is fine. It's no big deal. And just kind of keep moving forward. And New Year's of 2012, I started bleeding. I called the nurse, and they said, this also happens. It's no big deal. And so I don't have anything to compare this to again. So I don't think anything of it, and keep moving on. And 11 days later, at almost 12 weeks, we miscarried. And honestly, this was so incredibly devastating. This was going to be our first child. We had never experienced this before. We really, really were devastated. It was very, very shocking. It was very painful for us. I knew miscarriages were common. I knew it happened to a lot of people, to a lot of women, but it didn't happen to my immediate family. My mom had 6 healthy children. My sisters, who I have 3 of them, they all had healthy children. None of them had miscarried at the time. So really, miscarrying wasn't on my radar. And I'm sharing this because at the time it was very mentally painful, and now it actually gives me purpose to share. There have been many women that I have shared this with who have experienced the same thing and received comfort from me sharing. I have had 2 miscarriages myself. We actually had another one in between our children, but because of what I knew, we were able to catch it earlier on. I had the experience. I learned that grieving really has a mind of its own, and there is no right or wrong way to grieve. Everybody's path is different, and there's no right or wrong way to go through pain. And I also share this because of the hope that it brought to our life. I can now share the story of miscarriage with hope because we have 3 very healthy and lively children now. I have more compassion for other people's journey, no matter what the pain. So I don't judge. It's your story. It's not mine. I don't have any say in that. So I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, but most importantly, I am human. just like you. When our stories have some vulnerability in it, we can start to share part of our testimony. We become real, we become relatable, and someone else is inspired. You can feel encouragement that you are not alone and that you can track the path out of divorce, out of depression, out of anxiety, eating disorder, PTSD, a loss, or whatever it is that's keeping you stuck. Maybe it's some story that you have from your childhood that you're struggling to break through, or you're kind of thinking something and you're not quite able to see hope from it. And so being able to share it with somebody else can help give that hope. When I watch shows, like some reality shows like American Idol or The Voice, I'm drawn into somebody's story. Somebody's vulnerability is out in the open. There's hope that their vulnerability can be redeemed or their story can be redeemed. And when I watch local news, they'll highlight like hero stories. A kid raises money for mental health, charity, or changes someone's life, or somebody's life ends and another life is saved because somebody donated their heart. And I'm just bawling watching these stories because I see so much pain, but then there's also hope from the life that's produced from it. The fact alone that they're sharing their story makes them heroic. Maybe a new business is started. Maybe somebody's depression is lifted. Okay, so somebody can be encouraged by hearing this. Someone from a small town in the middle of nowhere might hear it and feel hope from it. Maybe I matter, okay? You matter. So reality TV sometimes, maybe isn't 100% real, but this isn't TV, this is real life. And you do matter, and you are real. So what helped me through grieving was the other brave people who loved me and just sat with me and listened to me. They let me be me, okay? The women in my family created this beautiful cookbook that really helped create memories and just made me feel loved. Women who said, I miscarried too, were lifelines for me during that time because I held on the hope that they're doing okay. They're all right. They're not still struggling. When you're in that hole of darkness, it can be really, really hard to see out. Okay? It also helped me to seek my own counseling and my faith. And my faith actually grew. And looking back, I'm really thankful for what I grew from the pain. My love from others, for others, relationships, the hope, the compassion, the faith, and the vulnerability. So how can you step out in bravery with your own story? So the first one is that to talk, okay? Start with a trusted friend or a family member and somebody that you know that you can trust, that you can be yourself with you, that will truly let you hear and let you be you. Start to talk. Number 2 is to do. Write, record. There's apps on your phone where you can record yourself talking, sing, dance, paint, draw, punch, lift, any sort of action. It doesn't matter, anything that's communicating and getting out your story or getting out your pain. Okay, this quite honestly is where the power happens. This is where things can be flipped, where someone else is inspired. If you have a tough story, someone else needs to hear it. Okay, the use a means that works for you to communicate. Okay, so like look at many best-selling books. They're real stories with real people. Okay, get around these people. I just read the book Educated. It was awesome. I couldn't put it down and it was so inspirational, but there was also pain in her journey. Okay, so number 3 is join. Join a group, therapy, membership, church, something. Don't isolate yourself. Get around people who have the same passion as you. They want to hear your story and may have a similar one. Okay, groups could be therapy, could be volunteer group, Bible study, Al-Anon, AA. And if what you desire to join doesn't exist, start something. Start a group yourself. Okay, there's an awesome quote by Stephen Acheson that is, emotional pain is not something that should be hidden away and never spoken about. There is truth in your pain. There is growth in your pain, but only if it's first brought out in the open. Okay, your story matters. You matter. Your pain can be somebody else's transformation. And one thing that I should mention is that this doesn't need to be this like a big, huge story, big deal. Okay, some of them are just like little shimmering moments of hope, okay, that changes somebody's day or somebody's week. Step out and be somebody else's transformation and thank the people who have helped you along the way. Start by sharing the strength found in your story and watch and see what happens.